Fear will stand its ground, but he's draining a lot of damage away from that DK, looking to inflict it into the rest of Complexity. They just keep fighting with the Chakrams down. Mumianda now frostbitten up. He can't go anywhere until he timber chains forward. The Glimmer Cape buying space for Fear just to keep running out here as Universe back to the fray. So is Sumail right in the front line. Z-Free, perfect Shadow Grave, keeping himself alive. But Sumail, he's got Sleight of Fist up as well as Searing Chains. He'll look for the double. He only gets the one that's over on the Dragon Knight, but the damage should be enough to kill him off before the TP. In fact, they just ensnare him and then bring him down. The Snowball chasing up Mumianda, the sole survivor of Complexity. And even then, he may not be that for long. No, he gets back into the base. But the creep wave's coming in, and EG will look to bottom racks.
Look at the health of EG's heroes and the fact that Sumail bought back. That fight was actually fairly close. They're 25,000 gold behind. And 25,000 experience. And their lineup can still put up this kind of fight. This is the Timber Saw in action against the Dire lineup with the Aghanim Scepter pickup. He's doing so much damage here. The Sven actually got to attack a little bit in that fight as well, but they're flat. They're simply just too far behind. Imagine that kind of fight on even footing. It's an easy 5-0 for Complexity. Just run them over there. They will never die with their heroes. But EG, they built themselves such a big lead with a great early game that, unfortunately, in my opinion, we don't get to see the real potential of Complexity's draft that I absolutely love in this case.
It had a lot to work with, but
it had so much potential, but you need the execution too, else it's just not going to cut it.
EG, they fall back. They've done it perfectly, and now they take Roshan. They'll give Ember Spirit. The Aegis Immortal is he'll drop now. So you have an Ember Spirit at level 20, 22, 36 minutes in, having a terrific time. And they look for the openings. Complexity smoked up. PPD's the close one, but he's in an invis room. They didn't see him. They see Sumail, but the jump is still going to be real. Sumail, the Song of the Siren, the last attack! The last attack blows the Aegis.
Time that happened?
It's up there, but then the Icy Shards blocking him for Complexity players. Sumail, they load his orb in more, but they bring him down. That's with the dive back. Complexity, this is their moment. But how much of a moment have they got? They haven't lost anyone. PPD, the only one bear off, but Mumianda with the Chakrams, he's following him down. The Stormbolt will keep PPD back for now, and Dragon, he's back in again after Fear. But again, the Lotus Orb. What have they got? Fear staying alive. They Glimmer Cape him as well. They're also low. Z-Free, they still keep fighting. Universe on the front lines doing it to Tuskar. It's a triple kill over for Fear. They catch up to Mumianda. Universe will take it. It's a team wipe. They could almost be the game right now with EG wiping Complexity out. They dealt with the Ember Spirit, but EG, they have a 5-man roster.
That was an incredible snowball in the end by Universe. If he doesn't get that one out, I think the fight just goes the exact opposite way, and Complexity could have cleaned up multiple heroes there. But in the clutch, EG are so good at these, like all these micro plays with like Glimmer Capes, Force Staffs, Lotus Orb. Here again, the snowball from Universe making a really big difference. This is 2 lanes of racks. I don't think Complexity has any chance of holding this. Push very, very fast here with Fear.
Fly forced off aggressively in by PPD. The Shallow Grave will keep him alive for the moment. He has Laguna Blade. Now Swindlemills to the front lines. You've still got Laguna Blade. Fly hasn't gotten off yet. He's just trying to get away from the Dark Creep Wave while Swindlemills is dying. The Chakrams can't buy enough space from Mumianda. But Universe so low as they pull in the double Chakrams. The Sentry Ward's down so they can keep tabs on the Tuskar. And EG will now back up. They do significant damage to the melee ranks, which will regenerate.
Complexity do hold it, but it costs them a Dragon Knight dieback, actually. He died immediately after there. Very aggressive TP from Swindle. He might have felt like he had to sacrifice himself there to keep the barracks alive, and to be honest, it might actually be worth it at this point. I think the focus for the Radiant at this, like if they're obviously still hanging on to the hope of winning this game, I think they shouldn't farm the Dragon Knight. He is not going to become relevant unless they win multiple team fights in a row. So for him to buy back to save even just a melee Rex, I think is the right call here. It's the Sven and the Timber that need to get items, especially the Sven. If he can get some sort of like even just a BKB at this point would work wonders here for Sizzy.
Just look at the lineup. And
got a crest too now on Dazzle.
The second I just see him getting a BKB, Aoi will just look to control him as much as he can or isolate him while he triggers the BKB so they just mop up this Sven nice and quick. And while he doesn't have that BKB, there's Fresh Heaven's Halberd, which was picked up over on Aoi as well. Like Sven's worst enemy right now is the Naga Siren. Everything she does just destroys what he does.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the problem. Even with a BKB, he can still get snared and shut down with the rest of the team put to sleep. But it's the path he has to take. There's no other option. They're basically very, very cornered here. And EG are looking to push them off the edge.
Yep, they're coming in. Sumail the first one, Sleight of Fist Syrian Chain again being used over on that Timbersaw with no reactive armor charges being built up. It hurts like hell. And Feared with the ulti on, there's another Sleight of Fist Syrian Chain over on Moominda. And the blink forward, Swindamelons catches out Fear. That sentry wasn't longer there, and Aoi just stops the fight. And in fact, they got Sven and DK right on top of each other. Fear triggering up that BKB, Swindamelons dying so quickly. I don't even see how that Sven instantly popped, but Swindamelons, the Shallow Grave keeps him alive. But Sumail runs backwards. It's a double kill for him. Fly may even just burn from this. And with the shards coming in, yep, they'll be ready to take it. Complexity being farmed up inside their base. I don't know if they're going to have the same mindset about game one where they just fight to the bitter end, but EG are so powerful right now, they'll kill off every single player of Complexity. The fact that Z-Freak is inside of his fountain isn't even a saving grace. They will take the mid racks, they've taken bottom racks, and they will look to take the full series here, EG, and push themselves into the semi-finals of the international fight. Sumail wants blood, and Z-Freak is almost going to give it to him.
What an incredible game from them this was, actually. There are just so many small plays that add up over the course of this game. It wasn't like just one single big team fight you could say won it. All of these 3-on-3s, skirmishes, small fights, they simply outclassed Complexity on pretty much every single move in this game.
They really did. Very well played. It was a superb performance of Dota. You could look back at it for a while. I know a lot of EG fans will, and Complexity will have to study it as well, as they will now drop into the lower bracket of TI5, while EG will wait to see their opponents and they can greet the local crowd. They've given them one hell of a show. Evil Geniuses moving into that semi-final to face up against either Secret or eHome later on today. For now, though, we'll throw it back over to the analyst desk to get the thought on the series.
Thank you very much to Toby and Synderen down there on the floor in the key arena. Complexity will now fall down to that lower bracket. Has put up a reasonable fight in the first game, but the second game, gentlemen, as Toby rightly pointed out, was a supreme display of skill from Evil Geniuses. Alan, you're back on the desk, and great to have you back here. What do you make of that?
I mean, too much Sumail. Plain and simple. I thought Complexity's lanes early on were decent, but just the composition of those lanes forced them to virtually leave Swindle on an island mid against Sumail, and he just got so far ahead from the very beginning in CS that he just dominated the mid game. I mean, 22 kills, second most so far at this TI. Only Aggressive on his gyrocopter has topped that mark. Just too much of the young gun for EG.
Okay, Melina, you said earlier on, he made the tweet this morning that said, hope you're ready. It was the Sumail show. And that really was the Sumail show, second game in.
Those kind of losses are really demoralizing if you're Complexity because you just got outplayed. It wasn't, I mean, banning the Naga is dubious, not banning the Naga rather, but at the same time, I mean, Sumail just outplayed them at so many turns, and he's really good with the flashy heroes like Ember Spirit.
Okay, we've got a couple of clips from the game just to bring it up. But Toby made the point in the commentary that this is one of those games where all of the teams will go back and watch it, and I think it's almost worth anyone going back to watch it because of how well they played. This is from 16 minutes and 30 into the game, and it was a triple kill in the top for EG. So talk us through this one, Seth.
Well, it's a move that EG smokes around to catch them when they're pushing the tower. Sumail's open, but it's really hard to deal with the Ember at this stage because he has so much backup and so much disabled behind him. And the sleep has been key, as we said, during all those fights. The sleep, they can decide whenever they're in trouble, he just sleeps, they reposition, and they reopen. And Ember is one of those heroes that benefits a lot from repositioning. And then he goes back in again, the ulti from Crystal Maiden, very well used when they don't have it disabled to cancel it. Great ulti by PPD, and they chase them down forever. That's the strength of Ember. You can never, escape an Ember Spirit. So he's gonna keep on using his spells. They can't go back. They have to turn and fight. It's the only way they have to actually deal with him. But that's not even an option because if they turn, they die. So yeah, great play by Sumail, and his positioning in those fights has been on point.
Okay.
And he never stops. Even Timbersaw can run away from him.
Thank you very much. And in the sense of the first one was a little bit of a struggle. I don't want to say too much of a struggle. Complexity had the early game, obviously, but How does that rank up there for EG now? How much confidence will they get from that in moving through to the semi-final? They've kind of got the monkey off their back now. They've got that out of the way, and they can now just focus on trying to get to the final.
I don't think EG is. I think they came into that match quite prepared, and I'd like to think they're the type of team that just step by step. So they had to beat Complexity, done, and now they're going to look to for the next match as if nothing happened. The next match is going to be a new one, a completely new one. They're not going to be like, we beat Complexity, we can go on.
Okay, going to get the thoughts of Malini and Winter in just a moment, but Fear, fresh from his victory, is with Casey in the players' room.
Hello! Yes, I have Fear, as you mentioned. Congratulations, first off. 2 very decisive wins. How did it feel in the pods there for you?
It felt really good. We had a rough game 1. We were kind of nervous there, but after we took that one fight, the rest of that game and the game after felt really good for us.
What have you learned coming out of group stage that you maybe had to implement facing the big stage when you came in for the international?
We're still learning, actually. It's just mainly a lot of teams like changing hero picks up, and they like using your hero picks, so we're just figuring out how we want to pick in which order that'll work best for us so we can get what we want for the most part.
PPD is known as being one of the best drafters. How do you think the draft went for you guys for both games?
Oh, very well. We spend a lot of time thinking about the draft and talking about it, but he in particular spends the most time just analyzing each draft and like which heroes were the best at fitting which players, and then we just sit down and talk about how we want to place, our lanes, our overall strategy, and then we just come out with strategies, and most of them, they come out pretty well for us because we put the time and effort in.
Well, it showed. You guys look great out there.
Thank you.
How does it feel being back on the big stage, having not been here for a few years? I mean, I know that a lot of your fans are really excited to see you back. How did it feel for you?
It's really nice. I love playing at TI. Unfortunately, I haven't played the last 2 years, so being able to play again is just super nice for me. So obviously TI is everyone's dreams. It's mine as well. So being back here was just great.
You were featured in Free to Play, the documentary that Valve did, and because of that and also because of the way that you play, you have a lot of fans who aren't just, super into the Dota 2 community, but people who are discovering Dota because of you. How does it feel to represent the community in that way?
It feels great to be like one of the North American faces, I suppose we could say. So it's like really nice to see people come up to me and they're like really passionate about the game, and I get to talk to them back because I'm also really passionate. So I love having conversations like at the fan signings and stuff like that. It's really fun. I'm really stoked every time someone comes up and like, oh, I'm your big fan.
How has the international changed for you in the years since you've been back?
It's evolved a lot. There's more players. The setups are better. Like the international one, for example, was like at Gamescom, and like the setup wasn't the greatest. Like it was pretty loud, and ever since then it's been like, it's almost perfect now. Like everything, the player's perfect for the players, and I don't know, I love it.
A lot of eyes are also on Sumail, and he has said that you've been a really great mentor to him. What has that been like for you to take him under your wing?
It's kind of just natural, I guess. It's just like a new player. I've been around for a while, so he has questions. I teach him certain things that I've learned while playing for as long as I have, and I just pass it on to him. And it's not like intentional. It's just like I know these things, so it's like I just say them naturally, and then I guess a lot of people learn from that.
Who are the other teams that you guys all have your eyes on as far as who might be the most competitive?
Oh, I think for the most part, it's pretty much Secret, and we really have a big eye on LGD2. Like, we're pretty big rivals with Secret right now. They've beat us the last 2 grand finals we've been in, so we want revenge, of course, so we'd like to see them again, but LGD is also looking very strong as well, so those are the 2 that I'm looking at the most.
When March was in here after his victory, he gave us a nice enthusiastic yell. Is there anything that you want to get off your chest that we can help you with here today?
No, I don't do that.
You don't yell?
I don't do that.
Do you dance?
I don't do anything. I just play Dota.
You don't move?
No.
Nothing?
I'm a Dota playing machine.
And very serious, which is what I like, which is why you're so good. Do you do anything to blow off steam after a win like that? Do you go off and, I don't know, treat yourself to some chocolate or anything?